over here.
Well, hello there, everybody. And how are we doing today? Today, we are going to be talking about Wanted Dead. It's kind of the finale. I just finished the game. It's going to be chopped up. We're going to go over things that happened. We're going to go over things that I liked, things that I didn't like. So, if you've been a part of this channel for a while, then you know that at a certain point, when I first played this game, I said, oh, this is a pretty neat game. Yeah, well, that changed about halfway through. About halfway through, it's just got to the point where things were very monotonous and not fun and super repetitive. And little quirks and things would really start to annoy me to where I would feel like, why do you have the option? Okay, like, let me give you an example. When you're firing a weapon, like the game is very supposed to be melee heavy, and that debatably is your weakest strength. I have my skill tree at 100%. I will flash it up here. And it is the most weakest thing ever. The game is literally thrown up everywhere, and every marketing thing that it's about says it's a hyper focused shooter and slasher combo and da 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 da. Look, the melee combat is very jank, okay? Fine. Fine. But what's worse is the shooting combat. I had no fun using any ranged weapon in this game. Cybernetic enemies, I understand. They have like exoskeletons and this, that, and the third. But for regular dude, why does it take a full clip of headshots to do them in? That is insane. That's stupid. That's. Oh, I hate it. I really hate it. And I don't want to hate it. Because at a certain point, I had a lot of fun with it. I think what happened was, in somewhere in the development phase, they're like, well, here's what we're going to do. We have this idea, and you're going to level up. And then that never happened. You never level up. So when you get your skill tree unlocks, you can hardly utilize them because you're so weak. I mean, everything you do feels like you're just attacking them with a broom bristle, like just one single hair from a broom, and you're just flicking them across a room. That's how it feels in combat, like about middle of the game. The beginning of the game is fine, and that's because it's a lower level scaling. You see where I'm going with this? It's a lower level scaling. But then as the game progresses, you're just shooting tufts of cotton candy, and your sword just turns into a wet noodle. It does nothing. It takes forever to take down basic enemies, and it really shouldn't. But you get fucked up real quick. You can get fucked up real fucking fast. And it baffles me. It baffles me. So at a certain point, I really did start to lose interest. And it's not even that, I wasn't picking up how to use skills or whatever. I was literally just, because I had this plan where I'm like, well, I'll take certain points of the game and I'll cut it up, and then that'll be an episode. I've been wanting to do something like that, to where I'd take like 4 hours of gameplay, say, and I'd chop it up to like how I'm doing now. I'm guessing that this will be about 30 minutes or so, we'll see, maybe less, and just call it a part of something, especially if the game has some length to it. So I was like, I should do that with Wanted Dead. I haven't played it in a while, and I really forgot where I was. I went back into it, and I'm just like, I remember why I stopped playing it. Like, it's just not fun. It's not fun. At first it was. At first it seemed like interesting and cool, but at a certain point, like, the story goes nowhere, and it's a game that's the whole point of playing is the story. Like, there's nothing else to it. It's just the story, and it goes around in circles. It goes around so much in circles that you have no starting point to base the game off of. And we'll get into that. I'm going on, it's like a 5 minute rant right now. I understand it's a lot, but the gameplay, the core of the game was the gameplay. And I think for me, I'm just like, okay, a lot of enemies. Like, I would like it more if, okay, say you're in a tight hallway. Everything is like so open that like your range stuff, you run out so quickly. So if you waste that on close by enemies, or if you make a mistake in it, okay, let me go one at a time, because I have like 30 things I want to say about that. So if you get a shotgun, say, you only get like 6 rounds to it. And if you have an enemy across the map, you have to just sprint towards them, especially if you're out of grenades. You have to just sprint towards them and hope you're not going to die on the way there. Okay? And that's another thing. If you have weapons like the shotgun and you're up close, you're in their face with the shotgun, it still does nothing. It does absolutely nothing. It depresses me. I will give you an example. In this footage that's just played out, there was one enemy, no exoskeleton, no samurai enemy, no boss enemy or nothing. It was one single enemy, and it took 3 rounds of a grenade launcher to take them out. That's insane work. That's sometimes and it's not every single time. It's like sometimes it works and it understands what kind of weapon it is, and other times it doesn't. It's like you're just, like I said, flipping a piece of fiber at somebody, like a fibrous little braid, like something, a broom hair. I don't understand what happened. I don't get it. I don't know what happened. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because the concept of it's a pretty cool concept, you know? And you never really get into Hannah's story. It's just kind of like there, like the pieces are there, but she never ever puts it together. Okay? It doesn't happen. So if you're looking for some payoff in the story, if you're looking for some, like, oh, I want to see, you know, if the main character has all these, it's a troubled main character, I want to see if they fix it. No, it doesn't happen. It does not happen. It doesn't play out like that. It ends up making a reference to the very beginning of the game that's a very forgettable moment, and it has nothing to do with anything, and that's the ending. Like, I'm sorry to spoil it now, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. There's gonna be steps to it, so I wouldn't even worry about it. So now that that's done, we can go ahead and start talking about exactly what happens in this game.
Detective Stone, this time you won't be saved by the bell.
Okay, so in my rant, I burned through all my footage leading up to this, which was all the police station. So you have to fight through the police station to fight Mr. Holiday, but here's the twist. There's not one, there's 2 of them, which is never mentioned before. I don't know. It's a headache trying to figure out and figure when they told you that there was 2 of them, because it's never been said, but we're going to go ahead and try to blast through this. So you fight the 2 Mr. Holidays, knocking one down and then knocking the other down. And once you do that, you're able to blast through the doors and get to the streets and lead your monthly named androids onto what's gonna happen next. Because boy oh boy, I'm still trying to figure that out. So when you work your way to the streets, I think, honestly, a lot of the stuff that I was talking about, being the combat just being one big open space, is kind of relieved here. If the game had more sections of like tight knit combat like this where you're like trudging through alleyways or where you're having to like basically take cover in non-conventional things, I think that I would enjoy it more. The cover system itself is pretty flawed. It offers no cover whenever you take cover. So, with that being said, I mean, you know, it is what it is, but it sucks. But aside from that, I do think that this section of the game was one of my favorite to actually go through. It was kind of a breeze because like everything felt refreshing, which made me want to try harder. I don't think that this is a bad game by any stretch of the means. I think that it is a boring game at intervals, and I think that there is supposed to be a level up tree that just never got implemented or got lost to time or whatever it is. But these sections here, where it alternates from like a wide open area into a tight knit hallway, or in this case, an alleyway, where you have like multiple sections, like through here, all the Jeeps are kind of lined up. I think it brings a nice contrast to the normal of just being in a building and a big open area, and there's your playground. But it doesn't last, so after this whole section here, we get greeted with the cutscene where Stone points out the obvious and says, "Golly gee, I hope they don't surround us," and then you get surrounded. We're gonna let that play out, and we get to the worst section, the rooftops.
We're dead if they surround us.
That cutscene is literally pointless because you just get surrounded anyways. I mean, there is no point in saying that unless they're going to give you a viable way out anyways. In order to get to the rooftops, you have to cross through this little hotel-like section. Kind of makes you feel like you're in Stranglehold or something. You know, something straight out of like an 80s movie. And it's a pretty cool section. I mean, that's probably the only redeeming part of the rooftop section. I just did not enjoy it. But this little section here, yeah, it's pretty gravy. I enjoyed it a lot. The rooftops suck. Let me reiterate that one more time. The rooftops suck. It's just a wide open area, and there's nothing interesting. And then after that, you're tossed back into the streets, and that's one of the biggest problems with this game, is that when they have a good idea, they do it again and again and again and then one more time, to where it just doesn't feel the same anymore. So for the sake of all things, I'm just going to take bits and pieces of the story segment and we're going to streamline it because, well, yeah, we got to get a move on. Your favorite monthly android ends up getting shot, which means that Doc has to stay behind and tend to the wounds. And then back to the fucking rooftops, of course, because why wouldn't they? And then back to another alleyway, because of course, why wouldn't they? And then the last fun part of the game, like this is it. This is the last fun part, is fighting these two spider mechs, which, you know, I think is just their spin from Ghost in the Shell and Metal Gear Solid at the same time, you know, if that makes sense. But this is like one of the last sections where I'm like, oh yeah, this is a lot of fun, and I'm like, maybe things are gonna turn around. And it's not that I don't like it. I did like this game. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I just wish that things were better suited and put together. So you blow those two sky high. After a tedious amount of time, you reunite two lovebirds, and it ends up getting real awkward real fast because they start standing off just until they kiss. And then the whole team leaves. They're like, okay, we're done, we're gonna go. But it's not over yet. because someone just showed up. So Hannah urges the rest of the team to leave to figure out what's going on. And lo and behold, it's everybody's favorite vampire hunter. Yeah, that's right. It's Richter. Okay, bad joke. I get it. Bad joke. Okay, so how do I say this? There is no parry. I mean, there is a parry, but it does nothing. Usually, when you parry, it's supposed to like stun an enemy. That doesn't really happen with Richter. He will overpower you. It's just a fight of wits, getting any cut in that you can. And when you do, you are treated to this scene where finally, over like the two times that you actually met Richter, you feel validated because you get to kick him down the alleyway. And you know what they do? Oh, come on, you know what's next. What's next is, directly after, guess who's back to talk to the captain? That's right, it's none other than the vampire hunter who has been kicked off of a rooftop, Richter. Yeah, so is it a double? Is it actually him? Who knows? But the captain doesn't mind. He just kind of stares off in the distance, knowing what's coming, and then he pours them both a drink. You know, the captain is like one of the characters I actually thoroughly enjoyed in this game. So, through a tense back and forth, you hear two shots, and that's over. There's no payoff to see what happens to the captain, even though he protected the whole team the entire time. So we don't know what happens. Now, back to one of the superior disappointments is Hannah's ending. And the team, too. The team you just don't hear from. The team is just like, everything is hunky dory. We're fine. We went to Hawaii, and all that's chill. But Hannah, no. She's back at a hotel, which, where? I don't know. Have no idea. But she's there. She's at a hotel. She's on the phone. And you start to wonder at first if she's on the phone for her actual child, right? Because they're like, oh, you've left donations and this, that, and the third. Well, let me tell you, if you do the math ain't mathin'. So it's not her actual son or daughter, because we are unsure. It is the orphan that you meet at the beginning of the game. Yeah, the one that I said has nothing to do with anything. There is no mention in the story that it happens. There is no hint that you have been leaving donations. There is nothing to really put this ending together. There is nothing that happens throughout the whole game that says, this is what Hannah's been doing in her spare time off the game's camera. And there is a lot of times where it could be downtime to where you'd actually could hear something about it, but it just doesn't happen. And that, along with some of the combat glitches and some of the repetitiveness, is why I am not a fan of this game, but I'm also a fan of this game because of the style it carries. The, like, in between of, like, the triple A feel and the indie feel. It's a weird perplexity that I feel, because I'm not saying that AAA games are better, and I'm not saying anything, whatever, because I enjoy a lot more indie games as of late. But what I mean is that the look, the design feels AAA. But there are some things that I'm just not, it just doesn't click together. The skill tree being messed up, and the leveling system being kind of jank. But regardless, after that, the post-credits play, and then this is the scene at the end of the post-credits scene, which is just more explanation about what's going on with Hannah and how she got here in the first place. But it doesn't matter because there is no payoff to it. You just kind of see sad eyes, and then that's it. Game over. So I'm letting some gameplay reel in because I knew I was going to talk after that. I wish that there was more story to this game. I don't know if there is a sequel planned, but that is one of the things that I kind of was like really upset about because everything is a story, it's all story based. Everything you do is the story. It's not like it's an online heavy game. It's not like it's a massive multiplayer. It is literally a story mode game. And that's what I feel is one of the lackluster points. The combat does feel fun enough. The combat does feel invigorating to a certain degree. I just wish that if there was a leveling system, that it was implemented so that it could feel complete. I think that's the thing, is that it does not feel complete. And while every little bit and part of me just wanted to 100% invest and love this game, there is a big part of me that I'm like, man, I really did lose interest. I lost interest. It's cool, it's stylistic, and it has a lot of fun segments, but the glitching, the story itself being questionable and all that, and the fact that the payoff is just nothing is supremely disappointing. Throughout the game, you're like, okay, the enemies feel stronger, but I don't. Okay. And at first, I'm like, oh, okay. Because at one point of the game, she gets a new katana from one of the enemies. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe that happens throughout. Like, maybe I was like, okay, we're at the end game. Maybe she'll take Richter's katana, and there'll be one last big segment where they kind of actually work towards the ending. Work towards more of the ending. Because I'm like, there's no way that's it. There's still some stuff that needs resolved. There's still some payoff for the androids, for the team. So I'm like, there has to be more. And there's just not. There's not. There's nothing more. That's it. Everything that you've done up to Richter, that's it. And that's why it feels disappointing. That's why there is no payoff. I mean, when it was finished, I sat there and just stared. I'm like, okay, I guess this is where we're at. Even the music was a lot of fun in the game. Like, I don't want to sell this game short or just sound like I'm just hating for the sake of hating. When I tell you I wanted to love this game, like, it is the truth. The music was interesting, the theme was interesting, and the game itself looked really cool. And for certain segments, it was all of that. I just wish they kept that same energy throughout the game. So it's a love-hate. But, you know what I do love? All of you. That's weird. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening to me rant. I appreciate you all. And 1K gang, let's go. We will see you in the next one. It's going to be a Who Remembers, and we'll see you next time.